Every stream I try to like drive it down that the three most important topics are arithmetic, algebra and geometry. Those are the three most important topics, and out of these three, especially arithmetic is the most important one. The reason I feel arithmetic is the most important one is because as somebody who sets questions, I prepare the quant section for dashcats. So I know that it is very difficult for me to set tough questions in arithmetic. If there is a question in ratio and proportion, if there's a question in simple and compound interest, it is very difficult for me to set a tough question. So if a question comes from arithmetic, it will most likely be easy. So if you're very good at arithmetic in all the topics of arithmetic, time, speed, distance, ratio and proportion, time and work, okay, all of these things, simple and compound interest, all of these arithmetic topics, most likely you'll get all of them correct. And a big chunk of the questions in quant comes from arithmetic. So it is a very important topic. Other than the arithmetic, the two other important topics from which a lot of questions come are algebra and geometry. The thing with algebra and geometry, unfortunately, is that some of the questions can be very difficult. As somebody, like I said earlier, as I set papers, in geometry I can make very difficult questions. I can make tough questions. Similarly, even in algebra, some of the questions, if you want to increase the difficulty, it is not very difficult to increase the difficulty. It is very easy to make tricky questions. So sometimes the questions that come in algebra and geometry are tough. Having said that, they are important topics because a lot of questions come. So at least if an easy question comes from algebra and geometry, you should be able to answer them. So these are the three most important topics. If you're looking at the number of questions that were asked in CAT 2023, out of 22 questions, in each of the slot, there were 7 questions from arithmetic. 7 out of 22, that is 1/3 of the paper was from arithmetic. In geometry, I think 3 questions came in each of the slot. So out of 22, 7 were from arithmetic, 3 were from geometry. And algebra was again, I think around 7 to 8 questions. So arithmetic was 7, algebra was 7, and geometry was 3, roughly. The remaining questions were in modern maths, which is like say number systems, probability, Venn diagrams. All of the remaining, I think 5 to 6 questions were from modern math. But if you look at the big chunk are from arithmetic and algebra, and some of them were from geometry. So these are the 3 important topics, and I want you to focus a lot on them. If you are looking at the percentiles, 99.9 percentile in CAT 2023 was 35. Now remember that CAT 2023 quant was exceptionally difficult. It was the toughest quant paper in the last 10 years. So you can't go by just CAT 2023 marks. If you're looking at CAT 2022, 99.9 was 47 marks. That is getting 16 out of 22 questions would ensure that you get 99.9. That has fallen by 12 marks. It became 35 in CAT 2023, which I think is not how it will be next year. I think last year was just an exception. But approximately if you're scoring 40 marks plus, you have a good chance of scoring very high in quant. If you're looking at 99 percentile, you should be scoring around 30 marks. That is, you have to get 10 questions correct to get 90 percentile. If you're looking for 95 percentile, that is around 18 to 19 marks. That is around 6 questions correct. If you're looking for 90 percentile, you need to get around 15 marks. That is 5 questions correct. So if you are actually very, very good at arithmetic and algebra, if you are very strong at these 2 topics, I think there is a very good chance you will end up scoring above 95 percentile, even if you ignore most of the other ones. But I would recommend you to not ignore others because sometimes very easy questions come from the other topics.